Welcome one and all to my very first YouTube video on my brand new YouTube channel. I am Nexus, host of Nexus What-Ifs, and today you will be watching What If Naruto Had Isobu and Kurama. Now, before I get into the video, just a quick little side note here. Yes, I said new YouTube channel because I've had a YouTube channel before, a What If YouTube channel. But because of some things, I sadly had to discontinue it. But now that I'm back here again, I made a new YouTube channel. Why? Because I just kept going on and off on my previous YouTube channel. My upload schedule wasn't very consistent. On this one I plan on being at least semi-consistent, right? So today I'll be bringing you a very brand new What If. Now, this What If was a original idea, as far as I'm aware, right? Because for a very brief period of time, the Leaf was in possession of the Three Tails. So I kind of made it so that it wasn't for a brief period of time. So yeah, without boring you with the details, I'll get right into the story. This story was made by me, so if you like it, thanks. If you don't like it, tell me what I could do to make it better. But now let's get into it. What if Naruto had Isobu and Kurama? Chapter 1, Acquired. This story starts near the end of the Third Great Ninja War with Kakashi Hatake and Rin Nohara. The moment when Kakashi would have killed Rin by striking her through her heart has one slight change. And that one change would go on to affect the entire ninja world. Instead of hitting her heart dead on, Kakashi has enough time to weaken his Chidori and aim it at her stomach. Rin obviously passes out from this, and so does Kakashi. But because of Rin having Isobu, she was slowly getting healed up, internally and externally. Obito, who was watching this from afar, has the exact same reaction and awakens his Mangekyo to kill all the Anbu. He believes Rin to be dead and goes on the same path. Kakashi wakes up about an hour later and looks at Rin with a pool of blood under her. He shakes her body, hoping she's not dead, and to his simultaneous surprise and thankfulness, she was still breathing. He then picks her up and rushes off to the village. Rin wakes up on the way there and explains why she did what she did. So Kakashi stopped outside the gate of the Leaf and went inside without waiting to tell Minato about her sealing. He comes to the gates with 2 teams of medic nin and 2 sealing squads. With the combined efforts of the 4 squads, Minato's sealing knowledge, and Kakashi's reassurance, they place a proper seal onto Rin. With this, he is able to walk in the village without anything happening. Years go by, and it's now the night of October 10th. While everything with Obito, Minato, and Kurama is going on, in another part of the village, Zetsu phases out of the ground right in front of an unsuspecting Rin, who was currently doing some late-night training. Rin jumps back instinctively and prepares for a battle. "Who are you? What do you want?" she asks. "Normally, I wouldn't tell you who I am, but seeing as you're gonna die within the next few minutes, I guess it wouldn't be too bad if you knew our name. I am Black Zetsu." "And I am White Zetsu." "And what we want is the 3 tails inside of you," Zetsu says. "What? Why? What do you want it for?" She gets cut off by pieces of wood coming out of the ground and impaling her back. "Wood style, pin missile," Zetsu says as the wood in her back deepens in, her back. She spits out blood and tries to do hand signs. Her healing factor is kicking in, so the pain is slowly going away. Zetsu isn't dumb, however, and phases into the ground while saying, "Wood style, binding wild roots." The wood in Rin's back goes even further and impales her completely. It then wraps around her entire body and digs into the ground so she has to remain stationary. Zetsu can sense the bubbling chakra underneath the ground and uses wood style, false wood, as 4 giant wood spikes drill through the ground and impale Rin even further. Those same spikes then transform into 16 white Zetsu that all extend their spiky bodies to absolutely shred her body. The white Zetsu then start to move around with the spiked body still in her. They move in a formation that leaves absolutely no openings. The chakra emitting from Rin bubbles even further and seems to be winding up for something big. The white Zetsu then melted themselves in the formation and it made a very intricate seal around Rin. The 2-toned Zetsu then clasps his hands together and says, "Wood style, go and Vang seal," as the formation around Rin starts to glow and extracts all the wood from her body and uses it as a barrier. Thanks to the chakras he's been letting out, this is going to be even easier than we thought, Zetsu thought. As Wind's unsettling screams filled the barrier, the chakra being absorbed and contained in the wood became even greater. About 5 minutes later, the beast was fully extracted and now sealed into the wood barrier. Mayfly trap, Zetsu said as the plant-like jaws grew in size and ate the wood barrier. Zetsu comes out of the ground and looks at the dead body of Wind. He chuckles to himself and puts a wood bullet through her head for good measure. He now has Isobu, the three-tailed beast, sealed inside of a piece of wood. He uses Mayfly and phases into the ground and comes out from the Hokage's monument 3 minutes later. He sees that a good amount of damage has been done to the village and is about to return to Madara, but he then feels the presence of the Shinigami. He then takes the piece of wood that has Isobu sealed in it and uses a wood-style charging lance at where he feels the presence of the Shinigami. It lands right next to Kurama, who had just been trapped by Kushina's chains. Zetsu then clasps his hands, and with a puff of smoke, Isobu appears right next to Minato, Kushina, and Kurama, and a baby Naruto. You've got to be shitting me, both Minato and Kushina think. Isobu is about to use his core powers to get out of there, because he doesn't want to be there. But before he can move, Kushina musters up enough strength to use her water style to grab a hold of his legs. Yes, Kushina actually does have water style. It only holds him for a second, which is all Minato needed. Minato used the Reaper on Isobu and sealed him into Naruto and was about to do the same to Kurama, but Kurama noticed this and went to kill Naruto so he doesn't share the same fate as his brother. Minato and Kushina dash in front of Naruto and take the shot. Minato, feeling his chakra fade away fast, quickly seals the yang half of Kurama into himself and the yin half into Naruto. The two were able to say their last few words to Naruto and then they succumbed to their injuries. Chapter 2. Dealing with the Devils. 4 years later, we see a little blonde boy running around the village while getting things thrown at him and being yelled at. It was his birthday and he had just gotten kicked out of the orphanage. He was going to the Hokage's mansion to ask for help, but the villagers weren't having any of that. That little blonde boy, Naruto, had gathered a crowd of people chasing him. Now he's just trying to get away safely. He hops a fence, ducks under a branch, slides under a hole in a tree, and somersaults his way into a secluded cave not too far from the Hokage's mansion. By then, the crowd had stopped chasing him because they effectively scared him away. But he didn't know any better, so he just kept moving. As he entered the cave via somersault, he slipped due to a puddle and hit his head relatively hard on the ground. He passes out in the cave. He wakes up and sees a dark and dreary sewer-like area around him. He feels drawn towards something, so he starts walking. He walks for a little while, just looking at the dripping pipes and wet ground. He soon stumbles upon 2 giant cages and hears a voice say, "Hello, Naruto." Who are you? How do you know my name?" Naruto asks fearfully. "My name is Isobu, and the one in the cage, his name is Kurama." Kurama gets enraged and yells with his booming voice, "How dare you give my name without my permission!" Naruto looks for somewhere to hide and just huddles into a ball when he sees there isn't one. Isobu glares at Kurama and simply says, it's alright, little one. It's going to be okay. My brother is sorry for yelling at you. He only lets his close friends know his name." Kurama simply lays his back down and mumbles, "I don't have any friends." Isobu then comes closer to the cage and gives Naruto a caring look. "I know that you probably have a lot of questions, and I'm going to answer them for you. What are we? We are what the world calls tailed beasts. We are made out of chakra and cannot die. If we were to be destroyed somehow, we would just reform some years later, since we are made out of pure chakra. Why are we inside of you? Well, that's where it gets tricky. People want to use us because we contain a lot of strength. On the night of your birth, your mother had my brother taken from inside of her. The bad man that did that used him to do a lot of damage to the village. And on that same night, I was taken from my host by a half-and-half man. Do you understand what I've said so far?" Naruto nodded his head, paying full attention to the giant turtle creature in front of him. "Okay, good." Isobu began again. And what must be your final question? Do you know why all the people seem to hate you?" Yes, we do, and sadly, it's because of us. Because my brother unwillingly destroyed the village 4 years ago, and because people think I appear to do the same, everyone has taken their hate and anger and frustrations and had just put it on you because you owed both of us inside of your belly. Is it fair? Just? No, not at all. But the people are still grieving and need someone to place their anger on. Unfortunately, that person was you. I understand if you hate us for that, and on behalf of the village, my brother and I sincerely apologize for cursing you to never have a normal childhood. Isobu finished. Naruto remained silent for about 2 minutes, really taking in everything Isobu said. It's okay, Mr. Isobu. I don't hate either of you. It's not your fault that you were first to be inside of me, Naruto says, surprising the two beasts. He turns his head to Kurama and says, You may be a bit of a meanie and pretty scary, but it wasn't your fault that you destroyed the village. You were under control by the bad man, and it's his fault. People should be mad at him, not you. So I'm really sorry for all the people who are hating you unfairly. I'm also really sorry that the two of you are stuck inside of me. If there's anything I could do to make up for it, I'll do it. Naruto finished. Isobu and Kurama just looked at each other, baffled that a 4-year-old was able to properly communicate with the two of them. He understood everything that was told to him rather quickly and didn't need any help from his words. Isobu smiles at what Naruto has said, happy that his container was like this. Kurama starts to think that maybe it won't be like the last times, and maybe he'll actually become friends with his container. But then he snaps back to his conniving senses and responds to Naruto with, Oh, there is one thing you could do that'd make the both of us really happy, he says with a smirk. Isobu would have said something, but it would be better for the three of them if Naruto did what Kurama was about to ask. What is it, Mr. Fox? Naruto asked. You see that little paper tag on the cages? Kurama asks. Naruto nods. Well, all you have to do to make us happy is to take those tags off. If you do that, we'll be able to walk around freely and to help you in any way we can, Kurama finished. Naruto thought about it for a couple seconds and said, Okay, if it'll make you two happy and help me, I'll do it. Kurama smirks and Isobu's sweat drops. Naruto slowly gets lifted into the air and is now in front of Kurama's cage. He's about to take it off when he says something that thoroughly catches the beast off guard. I'll do it under one condition. Will you two be my friends? I don't have anyone outside, and you two are the only ones who have really talked to me. I like you, Mr. Isobu, and I want to become better friends. And Mr. Fox, I want to try and make you happier, since you seem to be pretty mad and sad at everything. So if the two of you will become my friends, I'll do it. Naruto finishes. The two stayed silent for a good while. Then Isobu perks up and says, Okay, Naruto, I'll be your friend. I'll gladly be your friend. Naruto somehow manages to jump into the air from excitement. Kurama has stayed silent, just staring at Naruto. How about you, Mr. Fox? Naruto asked hopefully. Kurama. Call me Kurama, he replies. Naruto's eyes light up and he jumps even higher than before. He had just made his first two friends. Naruto takes the tags off and feels even stronger than before. Because Kurama wasn't trying to influence Naruto and actually agreed to being Naruto's friend, the remnant of Minato didn't come out. He may or may not be important later. So now the three are all friends. Naruto then subconsciously changes the mindscape into how he's feeling. It goes from a dark sewer to a bright sunny day with plains of grass being visible for miles. Rivers, trees, flowers, other animals, and more. It was much better than the cages the beast had to live in for 4 years. Isobu and Kurama are astonished at this, and when they look at Naruto, he simply says, Oh cool, everything changed! Chapter 3, The Demon and the Snake. 4 years later, Naruto is now 8 years old and has been trained by the two beasts all day, every day for the past 1,460 days. With his Uzumaki genes, having the 3 tails, and having the 9 tails chakra all inside of him, his chakra pool is 3 times bigger than in canon. He spent the first year learning and mastering his chakra control, so he can take full effect of his practically endless chakra supply. After that, they taught him his first jutsu, that being the Shadow Clone Jutsu. The two had seen plenty of shinobi use the jutsu and were able to teach him how to use it. He picked the jutsu up in about 2 minutes, and in 5 minutes he was able to he was able to produce 12,000 clones rather easily. The two then find out his chakra nature. He has a main affinity of wind and a small affinity for lightning. Thanks to Isobu, he has water, and thanks to Kurama, he has fire and an even stronger wind affinity. So, over the next year, he learns all the jutsu he can in those 4 categories, all in various ranks. So by the time he was 7, he was on his way to mastering all 4 elements. And now that he's 8, the only thing stopping him from fully mastering them is the fact he doesn't have the body or experience for some of the A and all of the S rank jutsu. So now we see a 8-year-old Naruto walking around the village, getting glares here and there, and successfully ignoring all of them. He would usually go for ramen this time of week, as he always does on Thursdays, but today he was feeling a bit different. He felt like having some dango on this particular day. So he goes to the dango store, ready to try out something new. He's had it before, but never from this store, so he walks in the shop, getting his wallet out, preparing to get overcharged. But before he could even find a place to sit, he sees a young girl getting yelled at, and then eventually get kicked out of the dango store. So he throws some profanities around, but he eventually walks off. Naruto goes on with his dango and proceeds to order 4 sticks for the price of 16. He walks out of the store and walks around for a little bit. He eventually finds the purple-haired girl and walks up to her. Hey, excuse me, miss, I think you wanted these, so I got them for you. The girl looks down at Naruto, and her sour mood instantly shifts, and a big smile becomes plastered on her face. Why, thanks, little guy, the girl exclaims as he ruffles Naruto's hair. She takes 2 out of Naruto's hands and starts to enjoy her meal. Naruto is a bit nervous because he doesn't have any human friends, and the girl is very pretty. He stays and eats his dango with her. They're both just sitting on a bench eating a dango stick. By the time the girl finishes her first stick, Naruto asks the question, "Do you have a tailed beast inside of you too?" The 14-year-old looking girl pauses as he's about to bite her dango stick. She looks at him, and he's still staring into the afternoon sky. I'm sorry if that was a bit personal, but it's just that all the store owners treat me the same way they treat you. And I've noticed that all the passing shinobi have given you mean glares like everybody else does to me. And I know it's because I have 2 tailed beasts or demons inside of me, but I thought I was the only Jinchuriki in the village, which is why I asked the question. If you don't want to answer, that's fine, but he turns his head to face her. I thought we should look out for each other, one demon to another, right? He says with a bright smile. The girl doesn't know how to respond. She looks at his smile, how warm, comforting, and welcoming it is. She tears up a bit and smiles back at him. She wipes them away and says, No, kid, I'm not a Jinchuriki, but some of the villagers and a good amount of the shinobi do hate me as if I were one. Is it because of something that was out of your control? Naruto asks. Yes it is. Because of my... She pauses. Naruto notices her face shift into fury. Because of my former sensei, everybody hates me. He was a traitor and did terrible experiments on countless people around the village, me included. He gave me both a physical and spiritual curse. She shows him a black circular mark on her neck. Sometimes it activates randomly, but mostly when I'm trying to sleep. So I go out on nightly strolls a lot of the time, but I also can't think of anything else at night. Whenever I try, he always comes back into my mind. And the people hating me for no reason doesn't help it one bit. She realizes something, smiles nervously. Oh, sorry. I've been rambling on this entire time. He's just a kid and probably can't fully understand what I've been saying. Sorry for dumping all of this on you, little guy. Oh no, I completely understand. I'm lived in Turkey after all, so I know what you're going through. I'm glad I've been able to talk to such a pretty girl for this long, even if the subject isn't that pleasant. She blushes at the comment. Thank you for telling me all of this about yourself. I hope that we can become better friends because of this. If you want to be my friend, that is. The girl smiles brightly and says, Well, you said it yourself. We gotta look out for each other, right? One demon to another. Although, I'd say I'm more of a snake instead of a demon. And you? She asks. Naruto takes a thinking position. I'd have to say a mix between a fox and a sea turtle, he says with a goofy grin. Goofy grin. He extends his arm out. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, by the way. Anko Mitarashi. She takes his hand and takes it. Naruto pulls her into a hug which catches her off guard due to his unnatural strength. She hugs him back, but suddenly feels something drip down her chest. She smirks as she breaks the hug to see her nose-bleeding Naruto. Naruto, who purposely did that, contains his composure and wipes the blood away from his nose. Sorry about that. I really wanted a hug, he says, chuckling nervously while twiddling his fingers. Yeah, I completely understand, Uncle says with a shit-eating grin. Oh, and just in case, Naruto began, I know everyone hates us, but we can't let it bring us down. We have to take pride in what makes us different and prove all of them wrong. That we can be trustworthy, caring, compassionate, humans. There's no point in worrying over the past. What's done is done, and in our case, it was out of our control. We can try to convince people that we're, well, people too, but as you can see, people are pretty stubborn in their beliefs. All that's left to do is to prove to them that with our actions, we can protect them. That's why no matter what happens, I go through anything to become Hokage, so everyone can acknowledge me, and so that they can place their trust and faith in me. Anko is speechless. She had no idea that what seems to be a mere 8-year-old can speak like this and have such ambition and drive. She then grows a determined smile and says, Well said, my little friend. I'll take your advice and carry it with me everywhere I go. While I may not want to be Hokage, I will also prove to the village that they can place their trust in me. She has an idea. How about a little challenge? Whoever gains the trust of the village first wins. The loser has to do whatever the winner says for 1 full day. Do you accept, or do you just have the words and not the balls? She says, smirking. Naruto returns a smirk and says, I'll gladly accept your challenge. You better prepare yourself to serve me ramen every hour of the day. Same to you, but with Dango. The two then just stay at the bench, talking about various subjects until evening. Little did either of them know they would become much closer in the future. End of part 1. Damn, that was a mouthful. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you weren't able to tell by now, this is going to be a Naruto X Anko sip. Why? Well, for 3 reasons. 1, Anko's hot. 2, I don't know, I feel like it. And 3, since the two of them at this time were really the only people ostracized out of the village and like the outsiders, I feel like it would be nice to see them make a little, have their own little special connection, Now, is it pretty weird if the age gap between them? Yes, but yes. No, there's no justifying that. But since it's my story, I can do whatever I want with it. So I'm just gonna say that they won't do anything like that until Naruto's like, I don't know, 16. I feel like that's acceptable. Until Naruto's about 16, they won't do anything like that. But yeah, no, expect to see Anko around a lot more. So as I said, I hope you guys enjoyed my what if. Once again, it all comes off. Once again, I made this whole thing myself. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm really bad at outros, as you can clearly tell. Oh, another thing. I should have said this in the beginning, and I will say this from the beginning from now on. My voice, it's clearly not, as you can tell, it's not easy for me to say some words clearly, and any words that just have R in them, like 70% of the time I can't properly pronunciate those words. So whenever I say words with R's, it sounds like I'm saying them with W's and stuff like that. It gets pretty annoying, but I hope my story is so good that it bypasses that. And if you hear any background noise, that's either me moving a lot or my mic just acting up. So yeah, thank you for watching. That was part 1 of What If Naruto had Isobu and Kurama, and I'll see you guys later. Nexus out.